त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ वृषभं चर्षणीनां विश्वरूपमदाभ्यं बृहस्पतिं वरेण्यम्। ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवि वचक्षुराततम्। ॐ श्लीं ह्रीं ज्योतिर्ब्राह्माय नमः। Can everybody say Hare Ramakrishna 3 times? Om Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna. Okay, welcome back. We will continue the chart. We want to finish the chart of Rajesh's father and see Rajesh's chart also. So we will skip Parasara today also. If there is some time, we will do at the end. So we will do chart only. So we will continue the chart that we were seeing last class. Where is that chart? Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. So the data again is 1960 September 10, 8:01 a.m., 5 hours 30 minutes east of GMT, which is IST. The place is Devas, DEWAS, Devas, India, 76 degrees 4 minutes east, 22 degrees 58 minutes north. Okay. Oh, okay. This is the one, right? New one. Okay. Okay. So where were we? Just refresh my memory of what we were seeing. I think we were basically mostly using the Lagna Vimshottari Dasha, if I remember right. Is that right? Lagna Vimshottari, and we were seeing some Chandra Vimshottari also because it's supposed to work. But we were mostly looking at Lagna Vimshottari, and we looked at the finances, we looked at the Keri, and we tried to make sense of the known past, and our expectation was that he will come back up again, maybe in another couple of years. That's basically what I remember. We suggested Hanuman Chalisa, very intense japam of Hanuman Chalisa. So, what are the other areas that you want to see?
Also, we suggested
Yeah, we said stock was bad. Don't try stock market again. That's what we suggested. Yes. So, any other angle that you want to pursue? Lifespan. So he wants to see what is the lifespan, what is the longevity. I think we kind of covered it earlier. Yeah. Okay. See, right now Saturn Dasha is going on based on Lagna Vimshottari. Can Saturn Dasha be a Marka Dasha technically? Will Saturn Dasha give Saturn results or Jupiter results? So, is Jupiter a Marka? He is the 7th Lord. So, technically 2nd and 7th Lords. For me? When the planet? Right. Saturn? Why? If a planet is in own sign, it doesn't mean it will not exchange the results. If Saturn and Jupiter are inimical, like Sun and Rahu, then you can say there won't be exchange. But Saturn and Jupiter, you cannot say that there won't be exchange. There will be exchange of results. As far as exchange of results is concerned, whether the planet is strong, whether the planet is exalted, whether the planet is in one house or Molatrikona, all those things don't really matter. So, but the thing is, Jupiter is, even though he is Maraka, he is basically a well-placed planet. He is in the 4th house in one sign. There is some good to Jupiter, but bottom line is, he is a Maraka, he is the 7th Lord. And if I remember right, he was in Gandanta or something. Yeah, he is in Gandanta. So Jupiter is a Maraka who is in Gandanta. So he is actually not so favorable. So the Dasha that is running right now is not really a safe Dasha. Had it been like Mercury Dasha or something, you could have said, oh, absolutely no chance. But technically, there is some chance in this Dasha. But then, instead of looking at just one Dasha and drawing a conclusion, let us look at the Chandra Vimshatri also, because when you are talking about Maraka Dashas, it's a good idea to find intersection with 2 or 3 different Dashas. And each Dasha, even when, let's say, Satabdika Dasha is the Dasha in this chart, still, Chandra Vimshatri Dasha is always a useful Dasha. There should be some Marakatva. It may not be the strongest Marakas Dasha, but some Marakas Dasha must be running for somebody's life to end. So, if you look at the Janma Vimshatri, what is the Dasha running right now? Right now is Rahu, but after that it is Jupiter Dasha that is going to come. Jupiter will basically, technically give the results of Saturn. Jupiter will give the results of Saturn. And Saturn, is he a Maraka? He is not really a Maraka. But the thing is, he is a malefic with the Maraka. Any malefic aspecting the 7th house or aspecting the 7th Lord or being with the 7th Lord can give the result. So Saturn being a functional malefic, or you could say neutral, but he is probably more functional malefic for this chart. So Saturn being a functional malefic, afflicting the Maraka, being with the Maraka, being a natural and functional malefic, being with the Maraka, there is a potential for Saturn to give death. And also from Arudha Lagna, apart from Lagna, if you see from Arudha Lagna, both Saturn and Jupiter are in the 7th house. So there is some chance, unfortunately. Let us look at the Trimshamsa. Let us look at the regular Parasari Trimshamsa. These are okay. Let us look at Rudramsa. Let's see if Saturn has any association with the Maraka houses in the Rudramsa. Rudramsa is the chart, is the real chart of death basically. It is, Rudra is the one, it is based on the 11th house. So in the Rudramsa, Saturn is in his Molatrikona, but the thing is, he is with the 7th Lords. Oh, why are we looking at Saturn? We should look at Jupiter, but then it was Saturn Dasha based on the other Vimshatri Dasha. So we should look at both Saturn and Jupiter. So unfortunately, Jupiter is the 8th Lord in this Rudramsa. He is the 8th Lord, and Saturn, he is with the 7th Lords, Mars and Ketu. So unfortunately, based on Rasi as well as Rudramsa, there is some Marakatva based on both the Dashas, unfortunately. So some Marakadashas are running. Now let us look at the Shola Dasha. How is the Shola Dasha? Because more than Vimshatri, more than Narayana, when you are talking about death, Shola Dasha is paramount. Yes.
Is it Jupiter also has a tending potential because being 8th Lord?
Yeah, being 8th Lord in the Rudramsa. In addition to being Maraka, Badhaka, Gandanta planet, all that in the Rasi chart. In addition, he is 8th Lord in Rudramsa, which is not very auspicious, and he is actually quite strong, bad in Rudramsa. He is with Rahu. There is a Guru Chandala Yoga in the Rudramsa. So there is some problem going on. The thing is, sometimes when somebody comes, we should not be looking at death, what is the expected longevity, when is Margadasha in that much detail, and also there is no point in actually being honest also. When necessary, you can be dishonest and give hope saying he has at least 10 years life. Your word will be wrong, so what? But the thing is, because we have an astrologer who is actually genuinely interested in finding out, we are just being honest here. Otherwise, would not. This kind of analysis is not really necessary in most charts. But two dashas are showing that Margadasha is running right now. But let's not go into which Antardasha, but right now Margadasha is running. But look at Sholadasha. What is the Sholadasha running right now? Pardon? Okay. Sholadasha running right now is that of Aquarius. And what is the thumb rule about Margadashas and Sholadasha? The most important are trines from Arudha Lagna are the most important. So when Shula hits either Arudha Lagna or the trines from it, or even the third house from it, when it hits them, it's basically problematic. Actually, we say Arudha Lagna, but what Jaimini actually taught is the stronger of Arudha Lagna and Dharpada, A7 and AL. Basically, Lagna and 7th house are the two centers, two basic references for seeing the chart and their Arudhas. But here, that's not an issue because AL and A7 are both together in Gemini. So the trines are Gemini itself, Aquarius, and Libra, and of course the third house from Arudha Lagna. What is the third house from Arudha Lagna? Leo. So these are the problematic signs. So right now Aquarius is running, and if you look at Aquarius has Ketu, the third lord. Pardon me? It's the sixth house, but it has the third lord from Lagna. Aquarius has the third lord from Lagna, and it is a trine from Arudha Lagna, and it is being aspected by Sun Rahu combination. Sun and Rahu, two malefics who are in the third from Arudha Lagna. Oh, by the way, Sun and Rahu are in the third from Arudha Lagna. So unfortunately, will this native have a very pleasant and smooth passing away, or will it be violent and unhappy? Because Rahu is there, it will be some kind of, there will be some suddenness or some violence involved there, some accident. Yeah, we are seeing from Arudha Lagna in the Rashi chart. The third from Arudha Lagna gives you the circumstances of death. It is Leo.
His Mars shows a sudden void.
Mars shows sudden, and Rahu and Ketu also show sudden and violent, unnatural kind of death. And here Rahu is afflicting Sun, and this is the 12th house from Lagna, and 12th lord from Lagna, Sun is there, so it could be in a hospital, it could be, there are so many things we can say, but it could be in a, for example, it could be in a government building. Leo and Sun can show government building, it could be an official building, it could be in a politician's house. So many possibilities are there. It could be in a hospital. But the thing is, it will be something unfortunate and something sudden and something unnatural. That is what we can say. So those planets, the third from Arudha Lagna planets, Sun and Rahu, they happen to be aspecting Aquarius. They have a Grahadrishti on Aquarius. So Aquarius does have a potential. When is this Dasha? Till 2014. So the Dasha has already started and is running till another 6 years. And unfortunately, this Dasha does have a potential. Let's just hope that this is not the one that brings death and he lives till Gemini Dasha, but there is a chance actually. So if you want to prolong, when such a Dasha is running, at least until 2014 is a critical time. So if you want to prolong, the only thing you can do is just do more mantras, just do more Mahamrutyunjaya mantra, do Mahamrutyunjaya homas with competent priests. That is basically what you can do. Actually, shall we use the 3 parts rule just as an exercise? Do you guys remember it? Who are the first? Which is the first pair? Lagna Lord and 8th Lord. Lagna Lord, Mercury. 8th Lord. Who is the 8th Lord? Mars.
Both are in dual, so
Okay. Both are in dual signs. So what does it mean? Is it long, short, middle? Middle, right? Fixed signs are short Movable signs are long and dual signs are medium. So one middle life, which is 36 to 72 years. Next, what is the second pair? Okay, Moon and Saturn. We will come to Lagna and Hora Lagna next. Where are Moon and Saturn? Saturn, of course, like we said, in a dual sign. Moon, Chara Rasi. So one Chara, one Visvabhava means you take the remaining one, fixed. So short life. So one middle life, one short life. Now, Lagna and Hora Lagna. How accurate is Hora Lagna? Hora Lagna is in the middle of the sign. So we have half hour leeway on both directions. So safe. So this must be right. So Hora Lagna is in, see, God, sunrise. It probably doesn't make a difference. Okay, good. So Hora Lagna is in a movable sign. Hora Lagna is in a movable sign. Is in a movable sign, and Lagna is in a dual sign. So the remaining is fixed sign. So that is also short life. So actually, the 3 parts rule is showing 2 short lives and 1 medium life. So what does that mean? 36 years. Up to 36. 0 to 36 is short life. 36 to, because there are some additional rules like Jupiter, Lagna Lord. So there are some additional exceptions that we never really covered. And for example, here the Lagna Lord Mercury is very strong. He is exalted in Lagna. So that basically is a savior. So like that there are some exceptions. So because of which it's coming to, it's basically higher. But the thing is, what we want to see is, this is not really a chart with long life. This is basically a chart actually with short life, but because of the exceptions, it basically comes into the middle life, but in the lower half of the middle life part. So the thing is, longevity wise, technically, it's not the longevity is not really great. So given this, and given the fact that bad dashas are running as per Vimshottari, the current Shola Dasha of Aquarius is actually quite dangerous. So do whatever you can do, and also be prepared. Just in case something happens, you should be prepared. Yes. Mm-hmm. Take what? Mm-hmm. Actually, I just want to digress from astrology and just a small story very briefly. Kabir, the great saint, he wanted a mantropadesha. He wanted to take mantra from one particular saint. So he went there. That saint, he doesn't really see a lot of people give any mantras. When he went there, he was basically lying down, and Kabir happened to go there, and he was basically disturbed by the coming of Kabir. So he said Ram Ram. He was basically disturbed. So he just uttered, not as a mantropadesha, just uttered Ram Ram. Then Kabir said, okay, I got my mantra. He left. He just took Ram as his mantra. He said Ram 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 Ram. And he actually achieved with it. He actually had a darshan of Hanuman, darshan of Rama, and he even had experience of the Brahman, as called Allah in the Muslim Sampradaya. He had experience of Allah, and he had a darshan of Saguna form of God, Sri Ramachandra. So he was blessed, and his only mantra was Ram Ram, and it wasn't even given properly by a guru in a proper mantra form. The bottom line is, how a mantra comes to you is basically decided by the nature, but what is in your control is how you make use of that mantra. So lot of people put lot of stress on getting mantropadesha, that to getting mantropadesha from a well-known Swamiji or something, but it's not really necessary. Even if you get a mantra from a book, even if it's a standard well-known mantra, there will be some Rishi, somebody associated with that mantra. So you basically think of that. Suppose you are taking something from a Puran, take Vyasa as the Rishi, if a specific Rishi is not given. If it's a Veda mantra, definitely each stanza has a Rishi associated. So there will be some Rishi from who has decided to reveal it to the world for Kali Yuga. In the old days, it was mouth to ear transmission from a guru to Shishya, and everything was secretive. But with the coming of Kali Yuga, Rishis decided that it will be difficult to find perfect succession and also to find good masters and good students. So they decided, put everything out in the open so that whoever wants whatever can basically take it and do sadhana with it. So all the knowledge that was already known, it was not new knowledge, but he arranged it as Puranas, he arranged it as Vedas. Vyasa arranged all the stuff for the coming of the Kali Yuga. So just any book you see, if you like a mantra, whatever it is, it may be right or wrong, doesn't matter. Pick the mantra, whatever your mind is attracted to, just do the mantra. The bottom line is, do it intensely. Do it hours every day, not just minutes. Minutes of sadhana is practically useless, because that is not even sufficient to clear all the impurities that have come in a single day. So do hours of sadhana every day with any one mantra. Also, there is no point in doing 100 mantras. People are attracted to so many mantras. They want to satisfy sun, they want to satisfy moon, they want to satisfy Shiva, they want to satisfy Vishnu, and they end up doing so many mantras. And like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, if you dig for water in 100 places, you won't find water anywhere. Whereas if you choose one place for well, you keep digging 100 feet, 200 feet, whatever it takes, you will eventually find water. So pick one mantra, just do it. So mantropadesha is overrated if you ask me. But if you get the right guru, it has its own value. But it is almost impossible in Kali Yuga. So just get started. So anyway, let us come back to the chart. So his father is interested in knowing how his spiritual life will be in the next 5-10 years, because he is getting more interested in spiritual life, spiritual progress, and mantropadesha. What do you guys think about this Vimshamsa? And also from the point of view of Dashas running. Let's go to Lagna Vimshotri. Lagna is really strong, not only in Rashi but also in Vimshamsa. Let us stick to Lagna Vimshotri. The Dasha running right now is Shani Mahadasha. How is the Shani Mahadasha? Is it a good Dasha or bad Dasha first? Just in simple terms. It's a good Dasha. Shani is in Lagna. Even though it's a Mankaraka Sthana, Shani Lagna shows hard work, labor. Pardon me? Yeah, it's not bad at all. More importantly, Shani is the planet of hard work. So his being in Lagna gives lot of discipline, devotion, and working hard on spiritual progress. And the thing is, Mars is Yokaraka, brilliant planet, 4th and 9th lord. Saturn is 7th lord. Jupiter is 5th lord. So 4th, 5th, 7th and 9th lords are together in Lagna. So there are various Rajyogas between them, right? And Shani and Guru being in Lagna, it is also Brahma Yoga. So there are various yogas in this particular Rashi chart, and especially Shani Dasha and Guru Dasha both are good. Even Guru Dasha that is over already is actually spiritually. Mm-hmm. But both the dashas are favorable dashas. Why is he not spiritual so far? Do you actually believe he is not spiritual? Whatever he says, forget all that he says. Lagna Lord is exactly in the 9th house, 9th Lord in Lagna, there is a Parivartana. It's a nice chart. So actually, forget what he says. Do you think that this person would not be spiritual? Assuming that the time is right, let's assume that it is right.
No, but there is a difference here. Most people consider the spirituality to be sitting and doing japa.
Right.
It's not necessarily that. Even working in engineering and work also is spirituality.
Yeah. Right. So because 9th house is strong, the person is not only spiritual, but he has to be interested in the religious aspect of the spirituality also, like going to temples or visiting some pujas. So those things, in general, that interest has to be there in the person.
No, but
the thing is, what I want to suggest is we have to take things in a perspective, because sometimes when people give feedback or people tell us what actually happened, they are coming from a particular perspective. We have to. Right. But the thing is, if I hear him correctly, that's true. But if I hear him correctly, he's saying going to temples now and then and doing saptahas, these kind of things. It was there. So he's not really denying it. So he's not a religious person. Now he is actually, maybe his spirituality has become deeper, has come to a different level, where he is interested in actually, he thinks that there is a soul, there is a Brahman, Atman, I want to experience. That kind of interest is actually more. Earlier he was just going to temple, just visiting a puja, just. Yeah, we should. So the thing is, whatever the chart shows, the basic personality must be there. But the thing is, apart from the ninth house aspect, the organized religion aspect of it, now there is a focus also on own evolution and trying to experience the Brahman. So there is some interest in that in the current dasha. Does it make any sense?
There is also one other angle, right?
Yes.
When it comes to a ninth house,
Yeah.
it is not always, when we use the word religion and religious, it's not always with the temple or seeing God. You can see God elsewhere. You see it in this pillar. So you are working hard at your.
That is true, but normally we associate the ninth house with the religion, with the organized religion aspect of the spirituality. And if somebody is, let's say, doing karma yoga, somebody doesn't care about God, no temple, no God, work is God. I have to do this work. I don't know why, but I have to do this work. I have to excel in this work. Work is worship for him. Then, not necessarily because that brings me money so that I can go to a big holiday or I can enjoy all this. Not even that. That is secondary or tertiary, but work is God. So if somebody has that worship towards work, if somebody is a karma yogi like that, that also should be seen. But then you are talking about 6th house, 10th house, you are talking about different things. But 9th house normally is associated with the religious aspect. So the fact that 9th and Lagna have an exchange, and 9th is pretty strong, it does show somebody who is basically religious, who doesn't say, well, forget religion, I just want to sit and meditate. It's not that kind. He would go to temples, he would see pujas, he would respect pujas. If there is a priest doing puja, he will do namaskar. So that kind of attitude basically would be there. And he's not really saying that it is not there from what I hear. So there's no really contradiction. But his question is, now his interest is actually more. He is talking in terms of Brahman experiencing what the Upanishads say. So there is more interest in that aspect, the own evolution, spiritual evolution aspect. So why? Well, whose results will Saturn give? Saturn Dasha. Saturn will give Jupiter results. Jupiter, Mars and Saturn. So Saturn and Jupiter will exchange the results. And who is Jupiter? 5th and 8th Lord. So 5th is, of course, Bhakti. What is 8th? Hidden. The hidden one, searching for the hidden one. Finding the hidden one and tapasya. So, and also it is a very auspicious sign, Pisces, the sign of the rishis. So, the 8th house falling in such a good house and the 8th Lord being in Lagna and his results being given right now by Saturn, there is that interest in finding the unknown, in experiencing something. And is this a good dasha for doing that kind of sadhana and doing some austerities and actually experiencing something? Is it a favorable dasha? Yes. Right? Saturn dasha is a favorable dasha. How about the antardashas? The antardasha that is about to start is that of Mercury. How is Mercury a antardasha? Well, Mercury is in the 2nd house. From Saturn, he is aspecting the 8th house. We are talking about the 8th house link. And Mercury is an exalted planet aspecting the 8th house. So it is actually good for all the sadhana. And how is Ketu Dasha? Rahu and Ketu are actually karakas for serious sadhana, not just religious rituals, but for real sadhana which makes you understand God. Rahu and Ketu are the Karakas. So Ketu Dasa is very auspicious. So the next few years seem quite promising. Let us quickly see Narayan Dasa. How is Narayan Dasa of Vinshamsa? And also let's see Drug Dasa. That will be really interesting. So based on the Narayan Dasa, the Dasa running right now is Narayan Dasa of Vinshamsa is Aquarius. And we have seen a lot of charts when Rahu and Ketu come to the fore, there is interest, either 8th house or 8th lord or Rahu and Ketu. When they basically become involved in a current Dasa, the person's interest in making more spiritual progress and understanding who is God, what is all this, what are all these Puranas, what is Veda, what is Upanishad, what is God, is God really there, how can I experience Him, all these kind of things come to the fore when Rahu and Ketu are dominating. So Rahu and Ketu are in Aquarius and that Dasa is going on right now. And if you want to be more specific, the first 1/3 which is running right now, that will give the result of sign itself. The 7th house, it is the 7th house, it is the 3rd from Aru Lagna. So right now the results of the sign are being given. So as a part of the results of the sign, the planets in it, the Lord, etc. will have some say. So Rahu and Ketu are still giving some results. But this is not really the part where Rahu and Ketu's results are dominated. It is the part where 7th house results are dominated. And what is 7th house? Interaction with people. So he may be actually interacting with people on spiritual matters and desire. 7th house is the house of Kama. So there is some Kama relating to spiritual progress. So that is the focus from 2007 September till 2009 September. And then next 2 years, what are they? The Lord, Rahu and Saturn. And Saturn, he is with the 8th Lord, and Rahu, well, he is the Karaka for this matter. So this is actually a Dasa when that pursuit basically becomes more mature. And finally, the results of the occupants and the aspectors will be given in the last 1/3. Then Rahu Ketu being in Aquarius will give his results. And of course Sun aspecting. So then the things will be even better. So my expectation is from now till 2013 is basically an increasing, there is a ramp up basically. And the focus on spirituality will be increasing. So it is actually a very good time for spiritual sadhana and spiritual awakening and spiritual maturity. So this is a very good time for your father. And let's see Drug Dasa, because that is our favorite Dasa for seeing spiritual matters. How is Drug Dasa? So he started Sagittarius Dasa. Sagittarius Dasa in 2007 September. How is Sagittarius Dasa? Progress Lagna is in Aries, right? Let's open the Dasa Pravesh Chakra also. Okay, fine. So how is this Dasa? Is it a good Dasa or bad Dasa? First of all, is there a chance of finding a guru and getting good direction in the spiritual pursuit? The 9th house, progress 9th house, which is Sagittarius itself, Dasa sign, has Saturn and Jupiter. Is it auspicious for finding good direction? Well, the 9th Lord is in 9th house, and that too his Karaka of Guru, Jupiter. So definitely this is a Dasa when he will find Guru, or if our Guru is already there from past, this is a Dasa when Guru will come into his life strongly and Guru will give him good guidance. So there are blessings of Guru in this Dasa, there is no doubt. Okay? And if you look at the Dasa Pravesh Chakra, the 9th Lord Jupiter, he is in the 8th house. So, but the thing is, the bottom line is, the 8th house contains a good planet and the 8th Lord is aspecting the 8th house, Mars. So 8th house is strong, 8th house of sadhana, 8th house of the tapasya is strong. And 5th house is very, very dominating, very strong in both cases. There is Sun Rahu combination in the 5th house in both, right? Sun Rahu in natal chart and Sun Ketu in the other chart with Saturn. So Sun with some malefics in the 5th house. That shows 5th house is the house of mantra and bhakti, and the presence of malefic suggests some Ugra Devata, basically like Rudra, for example. Instead of Shiva, it will be Rudra, and Hanuman, of course, is a Rudra Devata. So some Rudra Devata associated with sun. It could be Ram, it could be Hanuman, it could be Shiva, it could be many gods, it could be Matangi, but some Ugra Devata, his sadhana, especially Rudra, sun with Rahu can definitely show Rudra, or sun with Ketu can show Rudra, and of course Hanuman is Ekadash Rudra Swarupa, so Hanuman also passes the criterion. But some Ugra Devata sadhana, some mantra, doing it very intensely. Also, malefic planets show intense sadhana, whereas benefic planets may show not so intense sadhana. Malefic planets, your leg hurts, your body hurts, you don't care, you just try to forget everything and focus on the mantra, you are doing sadhana. That kind of Ugra sadhanas that Rakshasas used to do. Of course, not only Rakshasas, even great Rishis used to do, but they are more known for the Rakshasas who did them, that kind of sadhanas. So the kind of Rakshasa sadhanas are shown by malefic planets. So this Rahu, Saturn, Ketu combination on Sun in the Dasa Pravesha as well as natal chart does show that he will probably be doing some mantra intensely during this period. But this is a good period.
And matching to that, he already suggested do intense Hanuman Chalisa.
Yeah. Actually, it's a very good idea. If he does intense Hanuman Chalisa, it's very simple. It's not a Veda mantra, you don't have to learn any swara. It's very simple Hindi, colloquial language, and it's very popular. So it's very easy to learn. So if he doesn't know already, learn Hanuman Chalisa, start chanting every day. And the thing is, with other gods, if you pray to Rama or Krishna or Durga, they are not really here in body. If they want, they can come in body, but it's very rare for a god to actually come in front of you in a using the Bhu and Jala Tattvas, using earth and water elements to manifest in front of you. So if they come, it is mostly either through fire or ether, air, they will use only those elements. So if you have a subtle perception, you can see even when the god that you are doing tapas for comes in front of you, you are going to be able to perceive only through subtle perception, not through the gross senses you can see. Whereas the great thing with Hanuman sadhana is he is actually there in body. His physical body in which he walked this earth is not destroyed yet. It is still there. And he is one of the Chiranjeevis. He will be there till the end of this creation. So if you actually do intense sadhana, it is possible to see him in his body, which is made of the 5 elements, not just Akasa, but also Bhu and Jala. So somebody actually that your eyes can see. So that is the great thing with Hanuman sadhana. So if you do intense sadhana, there is no ruling out. There are actually many saints who did see Hanuman even in the last few hundred years. It's actually not impossible to see Hanuman. And actually, if you see any god, Hanuman or any god once, your life is made. That's it. So try to tell him to do intensely 54 times every day, like that kind of sadhana. Anything, any other aspects you want to see?
I want to say about my mother who dance and
Yeah.
she has a phobia. She's in a closed room, she cannot stay.
Mm-hmm.
In a place like Tirupati, she gets letters from the doctor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, but that will be very difficult to see from the
I have
answer.
one, but I don't have a Lucknow.
Right. Let us then take it easy. It will be most interesting if we have the Shashtyamsa accurately, D60. It will be a good research case. Because I don't remember now, I have to see the chart, but I saw one chart where looking at the Shashtyamsa, I actually asked whether she is afraid of closed spaces, like if she is in a closet and the door is closed, where she becomes really agitated. But the thing is, that wasn't based on solid astrology alone. My intuition told me there was something I saw with planets also. I'm forgetting the exact planets who were in the third from Arul Lagna. So I saw something in the Shashtyamsa after rectifying the other charts, and I asked her whether she is afraid, and she said she is quite. She becomes agitated if she is in a closed space. She wants it to be open so that she knows what's going on. So it will be interesting if there is one more chart. I saw only one chart like that. So it will be interesting if there is an accurate Shashtyamsa, but otherwise we just have to see this Shashtyam Navamsa, and it's very difficult to see that kind of specific things in the Navamsa. Where is L7? The Arudha of the 7th Lord. Leo, excellent. So you see spouse from Leo in this chart, and well, it's very difficult to see a particular phobia, but is there anything that you want to see, anything in general about mother? How will he have life and health and wealth? Okay. So right now the Dasha running is Saturn. How is Saturn Dasha for mother? Yeah, he is the 6th and 7th Lord in the 2nd house. But the thing is, more importantly, 6th and 2nd Lords are having Parivartana. The 6th Lord Saturn is in the 2nd house, having Parivartana. When Saturn Dasha is running right now. So 6th house shows working hard, overcoming a lot of obstacles, and 2nd house shows wealth. And Saturn in the 2nd house, is it good for wealth? No. Saturn is a planet of depletion. Saturn and Ketu, when they are in the 2nd house, they can deplete the wealth of the person. But there is a Parivartana. So Saturn and Mercury are exchanging results. So Saturn will start, after a while, after some threshold, Saturn will start acting as though he is Mercury. So he will start acting like the 2nd Lord in the 2nd house, exalted. That too Mercury. And Mercury in 2nd, is it good? Excellent. So this Dasha may deplete the wealth in the beginning, but after a while, after Mercury Antardasha, when the result is triggered, this Dasha may actually give her wealth again. So this may see some change in the ups and downs in the wealth situation. But how about health? She is weak. Okay. 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 How do you see whether somebody is active or weak? What is the main house? 3rd house is the house of vitality, the energy of the person. So if 3rd house has affliction, the person will be weak. Or Lagna. Lagna itself is the basis, root. So even if 3rd is strong, Lagna is weak also, then the result is possible. But specifically for the energy and initiative, energy, the vitality, physical vitality of the person, 3rd is the important house. And is 3rd good here? It has Badhaka, it has Rahu. It has 12th Lord. So it's not so powerful. But the blessing is 3rd Lord is strong. That is the blessing. So it's not all that bad. But 3rd house itself is beaten down. Pardon me? Jupiter is aspecting, but he is the 8th Lord also. So not so redeeming. Right? As a matter of fact, Mars is actually relatively more redeeming because he is Yokarka. Despite being Vadhaka, he can actually redeem the situation. We are taking Leo as Lagna. Forget the Gemini. Oh, this is the most. I was moving here. And the Lagna is Leo, and Lagna Lord Sun is in Scorpio, a Martian sign. So as far as the overall personality is concerned, there is a strong influence of Pitta planets, strong influence of heart planets, fiery planets, Sun and Mars. So when Sun is Lagna Lord and he is in a Martian sign, or even fiery sign like Sagittarius, there is a good chance of strong Pitta. So just based on this Navamsa, we expect that for her, Pitta dosha will be predominant. And also Badhaka Lord Mars, who is with Rahu, who is with Maraka, he is again, Mars is a Pitta planet. So there is some problems, strong Pythyam, strong Pitta is possible. And of course, he said she gets migraine headaches, and migraine and headaches are given by badly placed Sun, and Pitta is basically the main dosha that can give migraine. So the thing is, if she wants to control her headache, She can worship sun. She can do Om Gri Surya Aditya mantra for sun. That can improve her headache situation. And also, she should eat food that doesn't aggravate pitta. For example, not eat lot of pickles like we normally do in Andhra Pradesh. Not eat spicy food. Have mild spices. Like for pitta people, you mix 1/3 coriander seeds, 1/3 cumin seeds, and 1/3 fennel seeds. Suppose you mix these 3 seeds, and you make a powder with it. You fry them, you grind them. You use that powder in all curries. It gives you a flavor. If you want little spiciness, put some black pepper, put a little bit dry ginger powder, but not too much, little bit. That will make it slightly spicy, and it will be warming. It will not be like cooling to the body. It will be warming, but at the same time, it doesn't aggravate the pitta. And as a matter of fact, the combination I mentioned doesn't aggravate any dosha. If you use fennel seeds, cumin seeds, and coriander as your basic spice, it is actually balancing to all the 3 doshas. But unfortunately, what people in Andhra Pradesh, where we are from, the area of Andhra Pradesh where we are from, we use a lot of chilies, lot of red chilies, lot of green chilies, lot of red chili powder that is used in the foods, and that is terrible. That basically aggravates the pitta. And if she eats sattvic food without much chilies, very simple food, and also vegetables, like don't eat heating vegetables, eat simple vegetables. Like for example, for pitta people, you just eat beans, carrots, cucumbers, squash, different kinds of squash. If you are eating only this kind of vegetables, peas, this kind of vegetables with just coriander, cumin kind of spices for over a long period of time, the pitta will be controlled considerably. The thing is, we'll leave all that, but she should control her pitta. There is a strong pitta. But overall, how is health? Well, Saturn being the 6th lord can give some health worries, but is there any bad affliction either of the Lagna lord or involving 6th and 8th lords? Not really. We don't see any terrible combination, and definitely not now. The dasas running right now are fine. So the health should be reasonable. There shouldn't be any problem. Things should be fine. And is she spiritual? No, I'm asking them. Is she spiritual? What do you guess? 8th Lord Jupiter is in the 9th house with Ketu. 8th Lord with Ketu is enough for spirituality. 8th Lord with Ketu. That too, it is Guru. And they are in the 9th house. So, the person is basically spiritual. And of course, 10th Lord is aspecting, 12th Lord is aspecting them. 12th Lord Moon and 8th Lord Jupiter are together. Not together, but they are in Samsaptaka. And Ketu Rahu axis is associated with them. So 8th Lord, 12th Lord, Rahu Ketu. So that's excellent. So she is actually quite spiritual. Probably maybe even more than the husband, more than the native. If you compare with the Rashi chart. So she is spiritual. Any other comments you guys want to make? Any other perspectives you want to see in your father's chart?
Justice profession, now I'm doing that, so
Yeah.
I feel like he doesn't work hard and he doesn't do anything in life.
That's a good idea. Let him, because he may not have too many years left. It's a good idea for him to focus his mind on God and turn the mind to God.
God is in front of us.
Pardon me?
And also in the sense that if God is in front of us,
Mm-hmm.
so unnecessary tension is not a good thing.
Right. So let him take it easy. You help him, but at the same time, the Hora chart does show coming up in life again. So have him play a role. Whatever you are doing, have his name also there. Have him play a role, but don't give him too many day-to-day responsibilities, and let him focus his mind on God. It's a good idea. The thing is, all of we die. Whether it is today or tomorrow or 100 years later, we don't know. But it could be any time. We have absolutely no idea. Being astrologers, we have a little bit extra idea, but still we don't know for sure. Nobody knows when we are going to die. That is a fact of life. Yeah, that is a fact of life. So the thing is, we just have to be prepared for it. Whatever you did throughout your life doesn't really matter. What really matters, what decides your next gati, is the thought at the time of death. Suppose when your body gave in, and you suddenly find yourself unable to control your body. You want to move, but you can't move. Your connection with your body, your influence over your body is being cut off stage after stage. You slowly realize, oh my God, you will be scared. You will be shocked when that happens. And those who have some out of body experiences or Kundalini experiences may experience it even when they are alive. When they haven't died yet, they may experience it. But then the first time they experience also, it will be very scary. And slowly they get used to it. But the thing is, the bottom line is, when it happens, if it's the first time that you are experiencing it, it will be very scary and it will be very confusing, and your mind will wander in so many places. Oh, my life ended, I wanted to do that, I could not do this. I wanted to do that, I could not do this. So all kinds of weird thoughts may come, and at the time the prana is gone, whatever thought, basically whatever desire and thought is left in the mind, that decides what you are going to be in the next life. That decides your mission for the next life, your agenda, basic agenda for the next life. So it will be unfortunate if you are thinking of something really stupid. So the thing is, the goal of all sadhana is to cut off this attachment with the body even while you are alive. Simulate the death even while you are not still ready for death. Even when there is still longevity left, simulate death so that you practice what to do at the end. That is basically the goal of all sadhana. So especially when you know that you have maybe 10 years or 5 years of life and not more than that, it's a very good idea to prepare yourself for death. But as a matter of fact, all of us should prepare ourselves for it all the time. So all the best to him. May God bless him. We saw Ishtadevata, etc. in the last class, right? We saw all those things, okay. But I intuitively feel that Hanuman is very, very useful to him. That is what I intuitively feel, apart from all the astrology that we have done. So, good luck, all the best. So, what do you want to see your chart briefly? Can you give us your data? Yes, I will restart. Okay, we'll see the next chart. What is the data? October 3rd, 1983, 12:40, 30 seconds, AM or PM? Afternoon, PM, okay. Vijayawada. So the data is October 3, 1983, 12:40, 30, 12 hours, 40 minutes, 30 seconds, PM, Vijayawada, India. The time zone is 5 hours, 30 minutes east of GMT, that is IST. The longitude is 80 degrees, 37 minutes east. The latitude is 16 degrees, 31 minutes north. Okay. 1 second, let me just save it.
Within 43 seconds, lots of chart visuals starts change.
Within what?
43 seconds. The sensor, in-sensor.
Okay. Right.
The data entry, right? There is atmospheric pressure and temperature. Does it make any
No, not really. No. The atmospheric pressure and temperature, they make a difference in the sunrise time. So they can change Dhatika Lagna, Hora Lagna. If you use that definition. See, for sunrise, the definition that I recommend is sun's center is exactly on the eastern horizon. Truly, not apparent. So that is what I recommend. But if you use sun's rays are bending in the atmosphere and when they are visible, that is the sunrise. If you use that definition, then the angle by which it bends is dependent on the atmospheric pressure and the temperature. That is why those values are there. These are just some default values, 20 degrees Celsius. If that is not right, you can change it. And you can actually change it by extreme values like 0 and 50 degrees and see what is the impact on the sunrise. You can experiment.
So this is how calculate default.
These are the default values. If you know this is summer, so it must be 35 degrees, or this is winter, this is US, so it is 5 degrees, you enter basically. Okay. But like I said, for the sunrise definition that I am using right now in this chart, this has no impact. It is independent of the atmospheric conditions, the sunrise definition that I use. And similarly, altitude, some people ask me, what is the relevance of altitude? By default, I just put 0 meters above sea level for all places. If you know the correct altitude, and for some countries in the database, I believe I have the, for example, if you try US, Massachusetts, let's try, yeah, see 230, Victory Hill, Massachusetts, it's at 230 meters above sea level. So US database has the altitude values already, but for some countries I couldn't get the database, so there is no value. But if you know, you can enter it. But again, it has no impact unless you select the topocentric planetary positions. There are two kinds, geocentric and topocentric. In geocentric, the center of Earth is the reference, is the reference frame for the is the center for the reference frame for the coordinates. Whereas in topocentric, if the person is born in Vijayawada, you take Vijayawada as 0 and draw longitude, you draw the zodiac. If somebody is born in Boston, you draw from Boston. So that is the topocentric. If you are doing topocentric, the altitude is key. Not key in the sense it changes everything from daytime to night time, but it has some impact. The values will change when you change this value. Okay, so let us save the chart. You have rectified the chart and you are happy with the Vimsamsa, not really. Because you don't have too many events in Dashamsa, Vimsamsa.
In Dashamsa, I have when I enter the stock market.
That's not Dashamsa really. If you enter stock market, yeah, it's Hora. It's finances.
I have someone can just say like what happens next in this is the time.
Okay, we can do that. So let's assume that this time is right. First of all, what is your impression of the chart? The first impression of the chart. Anybody in Gandanta, like his father, any planet in Gandanta that we need to watch out for? Moon in Gandanta, right? Maha first padam. So moon is in Gandanta.
Beyond 2 degrees also not terrible.
No, it's not as terrible, but still 3 degree 20 minutes, that's what Sarasra says. So it is a Gandanta, it's not as heavy as his father's, but it is Gandanta. Moon is in Gandanta. Unfortunately, he is also the 8th Lord. His father has 7th Lord in Gandanta, he has 8th Lord in Gandanta. So 8th Lord being in Gandanta is not really auspicious. So when Moon Dasha comes, he has to watch out. Moon is a dangerous planet. Now, what Dasha should we be using? Probably Chandra Vimshatri only, right? Because Moon has all those planets with him. Let's check. Moon has 3 planets, Utpanna 1, let's see, Lagna 1. So we'll use Chandra Vimshatri. So Moon Dasha will come later, 2015 to 25. There is plenty of time. So during that time, he has to do some remedy for Moon. That time there can be some problem. But Sandasha that is running right now, I mean that is going to start soon. How is it overall? He is the 9th Lord in 10th house. There is actually a parivartana between 9th and 10th Lords. So there is a Dharma Karmadhipati Yoga given by Sun and Mercury. So it's a good Dasha. He is on the verge of a good Dasha. How was the previous Venus Dasha?
Actually, Sun is in 8, what do you think?
Sun is in A8, yes.
I wanted to know something.
Oh yeah, A8. A8 shows sudden changes, sudden ups or sudden downs. But being the 9th Lord of Fortune, his agenda is a positive agenda. So it's very likely to be a sudden, unexpected rise in fortune. That is what Sun is likely to get.
He is expecting the third from Aru Lagna and sixth from Aru Lagna.
Yeah.
Is it like near third from Aru Lagna and sixth makes a conflict of a saint or a materialistic person?
Right.
So Sun's aspect what about?
First of all, they are empty and they are sattvic signs. They are benefic signs. They are both Jupiter owned signs. So they are benefic signs. So that in general gives a sadhu kind of disposition. But Sun is aspecting. And Sun, he is a malefic planet. But in this particular matter, he is not too malefic. He is not like Mars, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu. He is a neutral planet. So his aspect is neither a highly saintly disposition nor a highly materialistic disposition. It's basically a balance between the two. Jupiter, the Lagna Lord, is in the 12th house with Ketu, the 12th Lord as well as 12th Karaka. That makes the person quite spiritual. That is actually a blessing. The 12th house is very strong. Pardon me? Yeah. There is a Graha, Malika Yoga. All the planets except Rahu, all the 7 planets are from 9th house to 12th house. So it's a very auspicious combination. Yes. Yeah.
Whenever planets are in 2 from each other.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Right. Well, in general, 2, 12, 6, 8 are not good because they are not cooperating with each other. But the thing is, that's actually a very generic statement. Compared to 6th and 8th, 2 and 12 is actually, people like my father, traditional people, they take the Dvidvasa as more acceptable than Sashtastaka. Sashtastaka is avoided, but Dvidvasa is not that bad. Because what does it mean? You are in, suppose X is in 2nd house from Y. Then X is in the house of resources for Y, and Y is in the house of depleting X. So, one planet is in a position to feed the other planet. So, here, Sun is in a position to feed, to give his resources, whatever he has, he is in a position to give this planet. And if he feels empty because of it, Saturn is in a position to give him. And if Saturn is depleted, Jupiter and Ketu are in a position to give him. So, there is a nice flow here. So, it's actually, what happens in a Malika is, Jupiter and Ketu are giving to Saturn, Saturn is giving to Sun, Sun is giving to all these planets. And the final recipients of all this, the chain of giving, are the 4 planets in the 9th house. It's very auspicious. So, the thing is, in general, just 2 planets being in 2nd and 12th from each other is bad in the sense that one planet is being depleted. But it depends on who's being depleted, of what, and what is the relation between them. If my wife is taking away everything I have, I am happy to give her. Because I earn only for her. Whatever I have, I will be happy to give her. Whereas, whatever I go work hard at my company, I earn a lot of money, and some idiot comes and takes away my money, I am unhappy about it. So the thing is, if somebody is taking away whatever you have, it may be a good thing or a bad thing. It depends. But especially in Grahamalika, because there is a chain of giving. So I am giving the knowledge to Seshu. Seshu is giving to, let's say, his younger son, and let's say his younger son gives to somebody else, and that person gives to somebody else. Then, because of all this chain, the knowledge will flourish. Similarly, when there is a nice chain, Malika basically means garland. What is a garland? It's chain of things basically. So it's basically a chain of resource sharing. Depends on where. That is why the starting and ending are very, very important. The ending is the basic source of all, and the starting is the destination of all. So destination of all the resources that are being transferred. So both are good. Lagna Lord is actually feeding. Lagna Lord and Ketu, the spiritual planets, are feeding this Malika Yoga, and the planets in the 9th house of Dharma are actually receiving, at the receiving end of this Malika. It is very auspicious. Yes.
The Grahamalika is always starting in the anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise meaning clockwise.
We are always saying.
Oh, the giving, if you are talking in terms of giving, then it's the opposite direction.
So do we say the culmination is always in this direction or this direction?
No, normal terminology is we say culmination in Jupiter Ketu and starting in Sun, this thing. That is what we say. That is a normal thing. But the thing is, what it really means is, wherever it is starting, basically, with respect to that, there are a lot of resources being diverted in that matter.
There is also Anamrita Yoga in this.
Is it? Well, Lagna is in the middle. Lagna is in the middle. And Ketu is, yeah, Jupiter is on the other side. Only Lagna is in the middle. But Lagna is in the middle. Yes. The standard approach is if Lagna is on the other side, then it's not the yoga. Not just planets. But some people take only planets also. And some people, they take planets only, but they say if one planet is with the other planet, even on the correct side, here Jupiter is before Ketu. But still, because he is in the same sign, we say that he still breaks. So that view is also there. But in any case, I don't think you should worry about the Kalamrita Yoga here. In my opinion, Kalamrita Yoga is not there. in this particular chart.
Even if it's Kalamrita, but it's still a positive yoga.
Yeah. But it is not there in my view. Yes.
One of the classes I have heard about Kamatrikona planets in Navamsa being in Bhagavatarasthana.
Yeah.
In another Jaini Upadesha class, I have heard we should see the Namakarasthana from the Karka house. So D9 is Jupiter and Moon in Namakarasthana, or Mercury Karka of 10,000 in Namakarasthana.
Mercury, the Karka of 10th house. I mean the 10th Lord in the Manakarka Sthana. See, the thing is, Manakarka can be seen in many ways. The Lord of a house being in Manakarka from the house itself is very bad. So that is definitely a valid thing. But at the same time, if you just take the Lagna as the reference, not 10th house or 5th house or some other house, and see which planets, which lords are in Manakarka Sthana, that is also a valid thing. That is actually what the classics basically talk about. All other things are derivations, saying that 10th Lord in Manakarka from 10th house, 5th Lord in Manakarka from 5th house, etc. These are actually derivations. So the thing is, Moon and Jupiter are in Manakarka Sthana. But is that more important, or is Mercury being in Manakarka Sthana from his own side more important? That is probably your question.
I was asking what should we look at? Like both? Can you
Both, you look at both. Both are bad.
Because both have two different connotations, right? When you're taking from Lagna, you're taking one aspect.
Yeah.
When you take individual house, then second from there, third from there, fourth from there, everything have the same bhava aspect with respect to that house.
Right.
So anything Manakarasthana from there or whatever, that has a different connotation.
Both are equally bad. That way, actually, 5th Lord is in Manakarka Sthana from 5th house. Right. So both are bad.
in one class
But the thing is, in my view, Jupiter being in Manakarka Sthana is not so bad here. Even though he is the 7th Lord in 3rd house, he is basically Lord of one Kamatrikona in another Kamatrikona. So it actually strengthens the Kamatrikona. There is a link being formed between 3rd and 7th houses. So it gives a strong determination in dharmic matters, and it gives some strong desire in dharmic matters. It helps that Jupiter is also a dharmic planet, the planet of, this is Navamsa, the Dharma chart, and Jupiter is Dharma planet. So it gives a strong desire relating to Dharma. Yeah, right. So that's good. Jupiter is 12 from Atmarka, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Any comments you want? Any comments you want to make? Also, you can see from Atmakarka. You can see which planets are in Manakarka Sthana from Atmakarka. You can also see from which planet Atmakarka is in Manakarka Sthana. You can see a lot of things. All have their own importance. Any other comments you want to make? Do you see any, taking Atmakarka as the reference, are there any Charakarkas who are in Manakarka Sthana? There are two. You should find two planets. Venus and Mars. Rahu also, yes. Venus, Mars, Rahu. There are actually three planets in Manakarka Sthana from Atmakarka. Right. Because the thing is, Atmakarka is a very important reference. Apart from Lagna, it's called Karaka Lagna. And of course, some people only take the Karaka Lagna in Rasi chart, but Karaka Lagna in Navamsa is also important. Karaka Amsa. So, Sagittarius in this particular chart, which contains Atmakarka, Jupiter, Mercury, is very important reference. And taking that as the reference, you have again three planets in Manakarka Sthana. So there are multiple planets in Manakarka Sthana from Lagna as well as Atmakarka Sthana in this Navamsa. So it's not very auspicious, but more than Lagna, the Atmakarka is of concern.
the relation between
Well, when you are talking about Atmakarka, Charakarka, etc., you are talking about your soul. From the point of view of the basic purpose of your life, what your soul represents is Mercury. And from him, let's say the Putrakarka is in Manakarka Sthana. So the followers or the children, their souls will give you some strife. At the soul level, not at the physical level like hitting you or something, but at the deep, inner deep level, there is some strife relating to children, maybe not getting children quickly, or maybe children not behaving as you want, or children being inimical to you. There is some problem. And when the problem is relating to karakas, it is a deeper problem. It's not very superficial problem that can be easily fixed. Similarly, Mars is Pitrakaraka. So Pitrakaraka is in Manakaraka sthana from Atmakaraka. So again, relating to father, either bad relation with father or some problem with father basically, which is very deep at the soul level, is there. Okay. Rahu is Gnatakaraka, with enemies, right, with with other relatives, etc. Any other comments you want to make? We'll move on to other charts. We'll try to see when are the interesting dasas. So Mars Dasha is going to start in first Sandasha. Sandasha is a very good Dasha. Let's actually quick. What? Navamsa, right. Right. Yeah. After when?
2006, grandmother is spiritual, so I used to listen to stories,
Yeah.
think about God for some time back. 2006 May, June, I broke my leg, and that is when 2-3 months after that I started to think, okay, this is small pain here, and I am unable to bear it.
Yeah.
Talk about this, it's too big. So what is the reality? Why are we born? Started to think on this.
So Aries Dasha is good for spiritual pursuit. From Dukdasha, spiritual interest is basically awakened in the Aries Dasha. And in Aries Dasha, the 5th house is, if you take the 5th house as Lagna, Leo. Leo becomes the Lagna. And the Lagna has several planets. And as we saw earlier, it's basically the beginning of the Grahamalika Yoga. It is starting a very powerful Grahamalika Yoga. And moreover, one thing you can be guaranteed is in the Drugdasha progress Lagna, if there are multiple planets in Lagna, it is almost sure to give a new beginning basically in the spiritual life. If you remember, not the same planets, but there were 3 planets in Leo for Arvinda, and in Aries Dasha there were big changes for him. And I think there was one more chart, Shivananda, I think. Swami Shivananda, Aries Dasha, he left Singapore, he came to India, he went on pilgrimage, and he became a sannyasi during the Aries Dasha. But in his case, things are slightly different. 12th house was more dominant. There were 3 planets in the 12th house, and in the Dasha Pravesh Chakra, there was a Pravrajya Yoga in Leo. But the thing is, if Lagna has all those planets, it has 12th Lord, it has Yokarka, it has multiple planets there, multiple planets of interest. So when that happens, and also from Leo, the 8th Lord is associating with Ketu. 8th and 12th are very important. So 8th Lord is associating with Ketu, and the 12th Lord is in Lagna. So spiritual interest basically becoming intensified in this Dasha is quite possible. But the thing is, the next Dasha is actually even more interesting, even more useful. Why? In Vargo Dasha, the progress Lagna will be in Vargo Dasha, the progress Lagna will be in Capricorn. Okay. And from Capricorn, all these planets will happen to be in the 8th house of sadhana, 8th house of reaching out. And more importantly, the 6th Lord, the 7th Lord moon would be in the 8th house in Manakaraka Sthana. It's basically a Marka combination. So from Capricorn, the progress Lagna of Drugdasha, 7th Lord in 8th, that's a great blessing. And he is in Gandanta also. 7th Lord in 8th, a strong Marka in Gandanta. So that shows powerful experiences. So 2012 is when 2013 basically, around 2013 time frame, that is when actually his spiritual progress will enter a new phase. But the time is good spiritually. But let's focus on material things for a while, unless you have something specific here.
Yeah, that is the time in terms of it is either the 12th house or 11th house now in the I don't know in the sense and in terms of both charts same possible.
Do you know your family deity or your Kula Devata, Grama Devata, anything? Your
I personally doesn't have any differentiation between God, but if I have to pray to one God, Om Namah Shivaya comes to me first.
okay,
But here the 5th house is not with problems with it.
yeah. Do you guys have any Kula Devata, like any family deity?
Actually at house they pray Lord Jyothishya, Lord Shiva.
Okay,
Mother likes Lord Jyothishya.
okay.
When your time is like 12:40, 30 seconds, obviously it just reach to 30
Yeah,
seconds.
because Pranakala Lagna is not it should be in prime star 7 to moon, so with that
That is a very, very generic, very nice.
Yeah, it's a,
That should be a great.
what is the actual known time? What is the time reported by them?
on one side it is 12:40 and it is about 12:40, it shouldn't be below.
Uh-huh. One interesting thing is you are born in Vijayawada. At Vijayawada, Gramadevata is, we have the very powerful Kanakadurga. The mother Kanakadurga is in Vijayawada. So there has to be a strong Rahu influence on the 4th house.
2007 for about 8 months I went to the temple every Sunday along with my father.
Okay.
My Rahu Kalam.
Mm-hmm. What? 4th house is the Gramadevata. 2nd house is your Kuladevata, your family. 4th is your Grama, your house, the place where your house is. So Gramadevata is seen from the 4th house in Vinshamsa. But the thing is,
See the initiation into
yeah, were you initiated into something?
but this July 19th I went to
So there is something planned for July 19?
yeah, that is a Guru Purnima.
Yeah.
Grandmother's Guru Purnima.
Yeah.
I will be taking last year I went I met them. I told that I will be finishing my master's at the
Okay. So he is expecting a mantropadesha, expecting initiation into something by the guru of her mother on July 19 of this year. So which one explains it better? Does Virgo explain it better? Which dasha is it? It is happening in the, you said July 19, right? So it's basically Virgo first 1/3. Virgo dasha first 1/3.
and I don't like to do job at all. I'm not at all interested in job.
Okay, we'll go to Dashamsa later.
Both charts change at the same time.
I know, but let's make a judgment based on it, then go back to that. If necessary, we'll come back. So, Virgo Dasha, first 1/3 he is getting Guru Updesha, Mantropadesha. Virgo is the 3rd house of Guru Upadesham. 9th house is Guru. 7th from 9th is 3rd. That is the Guru Upadesha, interaction with Guru. And Virgo Dasha is running right now. So in Virgo Dasha, having an Upadesha from Guru makes sense. The first 1/3 will give the results of Virgo itself. So it is giving the result. And Antardasha is expected to be that of Scorpio, the 5th house of Mantra. So makes sense.
And it is Venus Ketu according to Vinchu.
Okay. Good. Ketu is again but the thing is, Ketu, apart from being the 5th lord, he is Karaka in general for this kind of thing. So, irrespective of the Lagna, Ketu Antardasha could have given the result. Right? But here, given that is happening in this period, probably this Lagna is right. Probably it is Cancer. And probably Jupiter in the 2nd house and Sun being the 2nd lord explains family worshipping Shiva. At the same time, the 2nd lord, Sun, being with a very strong Mercury, probably explains, and also Saturn aspecting 2nd house, exalted Saturn aspecting 2nd house. That probably explains some worship of Vishnu and especially Venkateshwara. Saturn and Mercury, they show Venkateshwara. So that is basically probably was going on. And actually, pardon me?
Generally in Andhra everybody worships Venkateshwara.
Right. But the thing is, some families don't. Some families worship Shiva. Some families worship Shakti. Some families worship Durga. Different families have a different tradition. So it changes from family to family. In some families, if you go to Bengal, they worship only Kali. They don't know about any other god. If you go to some families in Gujarat, they worship only Krishna, nobody else, or Rama, nobody else. So we have these traditions. So if the second house is very strong, there has to be some influence of that planet. But here the two influences he mentioned are there. And the fourth house, like I said earlier, fourth house has Saturn, but Rahu and Ketu are aspecting, Rahu, Mars and Ketu are aspecting Saturn. So Durga being the Gramadevata also is quite possible. So things are okay. So probably this Vimshamsa is fine. Then let's go to Dashamsa. Now regarding Dashamsa, we don't know much. All he told us is he is not interested in actually doing a job.
I got a job in engineering courses, but I left it because I only concentrated on
Yeah.
always wanted to do business.
He wanted only to do business, okay?
And I liked doing stock
And he likes doing stock
market.
market. Let us see his hora and advice on the stock market.
How strong is the Mercury, Sun, Atmakarka and Matyakarka in Prakriti?
Mercury and Sun.
Mercury is Atmakarka and Sun is the Matyakarka. They are in the 12th house in Vimshamsa. And Sun in Atmakarka and all that. How strong is
Well, the thing is, Atmakarka is important, but Amatkarka is not that important when you are looking at the Vimshamsa. So you shouldn't pay too much attention. But Atmakarka is in the 12th house from Lagna. Is it good or bad actually in Vimshamsa? What do you guys think? It is excellent. Why?
Because Atma is taking towards the moksha.
12th house is the house of moksha and Atma is there. Moreover, the second from Atmakarka is what the soul is feeding. It is the second house from, it is the resource of the soul basically. Lagna is the very essence of the person. So that is the resource that the soul needs in the spiritual pursuit. Excellent. So Atmakarka being in 12th from Lagna is very good. For me? Atmakarka is also very, very strong in Vimshamsa. So that is not of any worry. And Amatkarka is not that important in the Vimshamsa, but in Dashamsa it is important. So Sun is Amatkarka, right? Moon is Dharkarka. Okay, Moon is Dharkarka. Actually, we haven't answered the last question. Let us see. The question that you asked, I will pose it differently. Forget Vimshamsa. In Dashamsa, what are the relative positions of Sun, Mercury and Moon? The Dharkarka, Atmakarka and Amatkarka. And those are of interest. So where is Atmakarka Sun, Atmakarka Mercury? Mercury. Yes. He and Venus have Parivartana. What Karka is Venus? Venus is Putrakarka. Pardon me?
Mercury is the Badhaka Lord in Rasi and is the Atmakarka. What are these things?
Mercury is Badhakesha in Rashi chart, yes.
I thought this should have been good because Venus, Mercury, the Boga is in 9th house, everything. But this is the time I sort of felt some problems and began to think spiritually. What implications does Badhaka Lord being the Atmakarka make in chart?
One second.
Problems are related to physical life. Only Dashamsa we are looking at.
That is the time I had an accident.
You had accident
I fell down and my leg was ligament in my leg was
in Venus Mercury. Okay, the thing is, forget Dashamsa. The fact that they are in the they have a nice yoga, they are the Lagna Lord and 5th Lord having Parivartana. Moreover, they are Atmakarka and Putrakarka also. So Atmakarka and Putrakarka having Parivartana. It is an excellent yoga given by them. but your career hadn't started then, and that is Dashamsa. Pardon me? Yeah, there is a nice combination, but that is irrelevant. Look at the Trimsamsa, look at the Shashtamsa, and look at the Rashi. If you are talking about accident. So if you look at the Shashtamsa, Rashi and Dashamsa.
I'm not thinking about action. No, I'm just asking if the Bhargava Lord is Atmakarka,
Right.
is it good or bad or
That itself, well, Bhargava is bad, right? He gives unexpected worries. If he happens to be Atmakarka, the planet who wants to give you a big blow, happens to be your inner self. He happens to be your soul. So whatever happens on a big scale, basically. That's all it means. It may be good or bad. He may, just because a planet is Bhargava may not give you a blow. He is capable of giving you a blow. It depends on his placement also. And what area he will give a blow, will it be in career, will it be in education, will it be in health? It all depends on the various divisional charts. And here, if you look at Venus and Mercury, well, in the Rashi chart, Venus is the 6th lord and Mercury is the Bhargava lord. 6th lord and Bhargava lord together with the 8th lord. So there is a strong enough case for some accidents or health problems, etc., given by Venus and Mercury. And in Shashtamsa, Venus is in Mruchupada and Mercury is in Rogapada, and from Venus, Mercury is in 6th house. And if you look at the Parasari Trimsamsa, again Venus is the 6th lord with the 8th lord. Venus is the 6th lord joining the 8th lord, and Mercury is the Bhargava lord in Mruchupada, and he is aspecting them. So 6th lord, 8th lord, Bhargava lord being associating with each other is there in Trimsamsa as well as Shashtamsa. So there is a chance of some accident or some health problem. But the thing is, right now what is running? Venus Ketu. Ketu is going to run now. So in Ketu actually, will it be easy to focus on material life in Venus Ketu, or will he be talking about spirituality? Because Ketu is the planet of spirituality. So he can give spiritual progress in that dasha, more spiritual activities. But luckily, in the dashamsa, Ketu is the 7th lord in 11th house. Right?
there is a Parivartana between Ketu and Venus?
Yes. That's good. 7th and 11th lord Parivartana is good. So Ketu will act like the 11th lord in 11th house. Moreover, from the dasha lord Venus, he is the 7th lord. Again, 7th and 3rd lords Parivartana from dasha lord. Everybody got it? From Lagna as well as dasha lord, Paka Lagna of the dasha, 3rd and 7th have a Parivartana. It is good for having initiative, having a strong desire and doing something. Right?
Two planets in the 6th house, that is what
Yes. 2 planets are in the 6th house.
we have a pharma industry. But cost more. That is my interest. If at all there is an industry, I would like to maintain, start a pharma industry. Is that there in the sun?
Okay. First of all, is there a potential for business in this chart?
Still there is a strong position. Business is there, but because 7th lord is 6th house,
Especially now is there. In the current period, the desire for business is strong because Ketu, that too in Venus Dasha Ketu. Ketu and the Dasha itself is conducive to interest in business, and Ketu Dasha in Venus and Ketu and the Dasha in Venus Dasha is particularly conducive. But it's just a transition period. In another year and a half, this will be over, and he will be in Sun Dasha. Is Sun favorable for starting a business or maintaining a business? Just honestly.
maintaining a business, working service.
No, I'm talking about business. Either starting or maintaining an already started business.
Maintaining.
Starting a business or maintaining a started business.
Maintaining.
Well, does he have anything to do with business actually in this chart?
7th lord is
He is with the 7th lord. Actually, Sun will give the results of Mars. Sun Dasha will give the results of Mars. And how is Mars?
First we should do service and payment because we have to.
Mars agenda is 7th house. Mars is the 7th lord. His agenda is 7th house. But, and also 12th house, investing. But, he is in the 6th house. He is occupying the 6th house. So, the resources available to him are hard work, obstacles, overcoming obstacles, doing service. So, those are what Mars can easily give. But what he actually wants to give is a business. That is the bottom line. So, is it conducive to actually starting a business immediately next year, plan everything to this year, and next August when Sandasa starts, immediately start a business? Is it seeming like that will happen? Unlikely. Astrologically, what we will expect is working somewhere, getting some experience, and then slowly, after a few years of the Sandasa, then slowly start a business. That is what we actually would expect based on this chart.
How would you just
Stock is he will gamble because of 8th lord in 7th house.
Where?
Because
Well, the Samsa 8th lord is in the 7th house.
but stock do you want?
So in general he may be a gambler with career, but that too this is Scorpio. But for stocks, let us go to Hora. Money. How is he lucky with gambling?
Venus Saturn is too good for me. I just started in the last 8 months and I gained lots of
Okay.
knowledge. But now Venus, Mercury, Sun, I think around that period I stopped balancing, became spiritual.
Hmm.
But in general, even now I just want, if there is something I want to do, then either business or stock market. I just don't want to do it.
But what do you think? Is he? His father, we said, don't even try stocks. You are very unlucky. Here, is there a potential of making sudden gains, sudden unexpected gains financially?
Also 8 in 10th house. 10th house.
Yeah. Ninth lord is an A8. A8 in Hora chart, which shows sudden ups and downs in the finances, contains Sun, the ninth lord of fortune. That is positive. So far, one positive factor. And ninth house of fortune has 3 planets. And those planets are, even though Venus is also the 6th lord, he is also 11th lord. And 11th is very strong here.
Take the loss.
Yeah. But he is also 11th lord. So 11th lord Venus is in the 9th house. And Mars is the 5th lord of Purapunya. He is in the 9th house. Only spoiler there is Moon. The 8th lord Moon is spoiling the 9th house.
Do you also take Mars as a 12th house agenda?
Yeah, he has 12th house agenda also. But he is also the 5th lord. So had Moon not been there, 5th and 11th lords being together in the 9th house would have been good. Even if it is 5th and 6th lord, 5th and 6th lord being together is Dhimanta Yoga. So that shows basically using the intelligence in financial matters to overcome the obstacles and doing well financially and being blessed because of it. 9th house. It would have been good. Moon is the problem. We have to do something about Moon. And Mercury. He is 7th lord in 8th. Is he good? He is actually a killer. He can actually ruin the finances of the person. Mercury, when his periods come, even though he is also the 10th lord, when his dasha comes, Antardasha comes, he can ruin the financial life of this person. So in Mercury Antardasha, he did a good thing by stopping. Otherwise, he could have actually made you lose whatever you earned also. Saturn is 3rd lord. And he is the 2nd lord of wealth also. And he is the Karyecha. He is the 2nd lord in the natal Rashi chart. And he is exalted in the 11th house. And he is in Bhagyapada. When Bhagyapada is in 11th house of gains, it is very auspicious. Right? So Saturn is excellent. So Saturn is a very good planet. Rahu is also a quite good planet. But Mercury, probably not. I am a little hesitant about Mercury. But another factor I am hesitant about is stock market is in general shown by Mercury. Mercury is the main planet for stock market. He is the planet of business. He is also the planet of emotions, planet of intuition, etc. So Mercury is very important for stock market. And
also for intuition?
maybe not for stock market. So Mercury being such a bad planet in this Hora chart, based on that kind of intuitive judgments, it is unlikely that you will gain. Who will actually make you gain? Who is actually quite well placed here? Saturn. In this chart, Mars is also quite good. Moon, by the way, Moon is again the planet of mind. Again, he is not well placed. So, intuition, quick mental decisions, those are not really for you. On the other hand, Saturn, he is a really good planet in this chart. Apart from being Karya, he is in Bhagyapada, he is exalted. And he is in third from Arun Lagna. He is a malefic exalted in the third from Arun Lagna. He gives terrific financial success. So, Saturnine things are good, like world stocks, oil, etc. For example, if you invest in oil digging, it is almost guaranteed to give you a lot of returns. So, you can invest in oil, you can invest in steel, you can invest in iron, you can invest in all Saturnine fields. But stock market, I am not sure. Stock market is actually, Saturn is the opposite of stock market.
Also, pharma line that is thinking is not the right thing for gain.
Okay, pharma, let us come to that. Now, can he gain through business?
Seventh Lord, do we take the same seventh Lord here for that purpose?
Yeah, you can take the seventh lord, and also because we are, pardon me?
Take the seventh house as a reference to see how it is.
Right. Take the seventh house in Hora as the business of the person and interactions with the other people, and how are various planets. Now, Mercury is the Lagna Lord in the second house. By the way, A3 is in the seventh house in Hora. Did you see that? So, A11 is also there. Yeah. So, A3 and 11 are in seventh house, which is good. Now, Mercury is quite good, but what shows pharma? The field of pharmaceuticals. Sun is the surgeon. He is the doctor who cuts you open and who fixes. And Moon is the one who nourishes you, who takes care of you. And who gives medicines? Rahu. Rahu is the main karaka for medicines. Right? And how is Rahu in this chart? Well, he is quite good. From the 7th house of business, he is the 9th lord in the 5th house with exalted Shani. So he is quite good. Even from basic Lagna itself, Rahu is 3rd lord in the 11th house, exalted in with exalted Saturn in Bhagyapada. So Rahu, pharma field is that too. Venus is again, Venus also shows medicines, various chemicals that are prepared for medical purposes are shown by Venus. And Rahu is a Venusian sign. Rahu is a Venusian sign. And from 7th house of business in Hora chart, Venus is 5th lord. And also 12th lord of investing. But he is also 5th lord in the 3rd house. So, pharmaceuticals seems like a good area for making financial progress. But apart from it, in general, if you have money, not now, because now you said that all the money is going, not coming, but at a later point of time when you have money to invest, I advise you not to invest in stock market. Instead, if you invest in commodities or you invest in oil kind of things, you will get better returns. Just open a petroleum bunk also, that is very good for you. Those things are much better.
Since this is the time I wanted my father to rest in me taking on, I have knowledge-wise, I have knowledge in stock market, quite some knowledge. So can I take over and look after in Venus KT period and Sun period?
Taking over meaning taking over the business?
No, actually we have no business right now.
Yeah.
Only a few stocks are left.
Okay, managing the remaining stocks.
Managing, and I just wanted my father to rest.
Yeah, you have no option, so do it. But in general, try to get out of stock market as much as you can. Eventually.
How strong is the Parivraj Yoga?
Do you have a Parivraj Yoga? Moon is a Navamsa of Mars aspected by in Rasi by Saturn. Moon is aspected by Saturn. He is in a Navamsa of Mars. He is. And also 12th house is quite strong. Actually, the 10th lord Mercury is only with 3 grahas. Had there been one more graha in Leo, it would have been very difficult to stop. If 10th lord is with 4 grahas, that's a very powerful Parivraj Yoga. So if Mercury, the 10th Lord, he is with Mars, Moon and Venus here. Had he been with one more planet joined there, it would have been really terrific for Parivraj Yoga. In general, 10th Lord is in the 9th house with 8th Lord, 12th Lord, 6th Lord, all the Dusthana Grahas. The 10th Lord is in the 9th house with all the Dusthana Lords, and the 12th is quite strong. So there is a strong interest in renunciation. So let us actually look at Navamsa. In the Navamsa, Dharakarka is Moon. In the Navamsa, Dharakarka Moon is in the 8th house. But in a trine from Atmakarka. So Atmakarka and Dharakarka are in mutual trines. That is good. And how is the 7th Lord? He is in the 3rd house. He is in UL. And how is UL in Rashi? The 2nd Lord from it is with Ketu, showing continuation. And the UL Lord is exalted in the 9th from UL. So my feeling is it's not that strong. It is there. There is some interest in renunciation, but my feeling is you will probably be a householder, have a regular life, but you will remain quite spiritual. And as a matter of fact, I just want to, because you are here, I just want to say one thing. The real sannyasa is not of objects like wife, children, career. It's not really, that's not the real sannyasa. The real sannyasa is in the mind. Whatever you are doing, you are actually constantly telling yourself, I'm not doing, Shiva is doing through me. So whatever phala comes because of it is basically, it belongs to Shiva, not me. So when you are successful, everybody comes and praises, oh, what a great business magnate you are. You say, well, it is their job to praise. Shiva is making them praise, but it's all Shiva's leela. I'm just a pawn in chess. So if you are thinking like that all the time, then whether you are doing a ritual of God, or whether you are sitting on the toilet bowl and whether you are urinating, or whether you are doing abhishekam to Shivalinga, or whether you are giving a discourse on astrology, or whether you are having sex with a person, whatever you are doing, in any activity, if you think this is a good activity, this is a bad activity, this is pure, this is impure, that is one way. But if you stop thinking like that and you do whatever Prakriti has kept you in a position to do at that particular point of time, you do whatever you are in a position to do, but think this is Shiva, this is Shiva, this is Shiva, this is Shiva every time, then that is the real sannyasa of the mind. Then you are like the drop of like Vivekananda says, the drop of water on the lotus leaf. That is the real sannyasa. The other kind of sannyasa is just a practice so that you give up one thing and you get used to it. But the thing is that is neither necessary nor sufficient to actually become the real sannyasi, true sannyasi. Being a householder and being a businessman and yet being a sannyasi is very difficult, and it is not impossible. And that is the real goal. That is the real goal that you should have. So don't think in terms of all this badarbandi or all this wife, children, all this is a hassle.
Actually, that's how I think. But in the tradition that I will be going to school, they say you need to marry, have a household, but be like the drop on lotus tree, as Krishna says.
Right.
But I said, okay, let me get that experience first. Now I keep on saying that, okay, this is not me doing it, even good or bad.
No.
So I just want to see if I can get married in the next couple of years, because at home they're trying to get me married. But I said, once I get the experience and feel of it, then I will marry. I don't want to marry right now.
Okay, let's see the timing of the marriage. But one thing is, looking at Rashi and Navamsa, like I said, my strong feeling is you will be a householder. You will not be a sannyasi. You will be married. Now, when to marry? What is your advice? The class's advice. Venus Dasha is running right now. Is Venus Ketu a good period to marry?
Actually, Venus, Ketu, and Navamsa and Rashi, that's Boga Pass.
Yeah, right. In the 3rd house with the 7th Lord. With the 7th Lord. Okay, we'll come to that of the current year. Right. See, the thing is, Venus and Ketu both are Karakas. Venus is the ninth lord in ninth house in Navamsa, and from the UL, he is basically a Yokarka. He is the disposer of the UL lord, and he is in the seventh from UL. He is aspecting the UL, and he is of course Karaka of marriage. He is with Mercury, seventh lord, and Ketu. If you look at Ketu, he is in the 12th house in Rasi, and Ketu is the UL lord in the Navamsa. And like he said, the Bhoga from Venus to Ketu falls in Scorpio, which contains 7th lord and UL. So there is a good chance. But suppose he leaves this window, Venus Ketu passes, Sun comes. Is Sandasaya a good dasha to marry? Sun is in the 8th house from UL in the Rashi chart. He is the disposer of 7th lord and Venus. And in Navamsa, he is in the 9th house, but he is the 12th lord. Is Sandasaya better dasha to marry or Venus Ketu? Venus Ketu is a better dasha to marry. Narayan dasha of D9, yeah. Aquarius, 1 second. So Narayan dasha of D9, Aquarius is going to start next year. Right. It is the 6th house. It has like a UL lord, but it is 6th house. Whereas Cancer, if you see, the dasha that is running right now, how is Cancer? It is 9th from UL, it protects the marriage, and also it aspects UL. And what else? It has Dharpada. So in general, is it a good idea to wait till, of course, here Virgo dasha is coming in 2010, and Virgo being the Lagna, Virgo dasha is not at all a bad dasha to marry. After 2010 is not at all a bad time to marry. But if you go back to Vimshotri, if he doesn't marry now, in the next 1.5 year, or 1 year, 1.5 year, Sun will take over. It's not so great for marrying. It is an average dasha to marry. Sun is in an inimical sign with an enemy in Navamsa, he is the 12th lord. So because of all these things, it's not actually a bad idea to marry now. And if you look at the 2008 Tithi Pravesh or 2007, we'll see the current dasha that is running right now. If you look at that dasha, how is the Tithi Pravesh dasha? Tithi Pravesh? The horror.
We changed it from the version I had. In that,
Yeah.
one is in Cancer itself.
I see. Right. Because of this Ainamsa change, it will be different. How is this? Is there a chance of marriage? How is this Tithi Pravesh chart? Who is the Hora Lord? Mars. Mars is the Hora Lord. He is in 7th house in Rasi chart. Okay. What else? He is 9th Lord in the Navamsa, right? He is the 9th Lord of Dharma in the Navamsa. Where is Vivasahamam? 10 degrees Sagittarius. Vivasahamam is at 10 degrees Sagittarius. So Mars is closely aspecting. Vivasahamam is at 10 degrees. Mars is in the 10th degree of Gemini. So Mars happens to be in the 7th house and aspecting Vivasahamam very closely. And what else? He is what? In Navamsa, Mars is Yokarka. He is in the 5th house. He is having a yoga with Lagna Lord. Lagna Lord Sun and 9th Lord Mars are having a Samsaptaka. He is aspecting UL. Pardon me? He is also Yokarka. Right. So there is a chance, because of the strength of Mars, there is a chance of marriage this year. And it's not really a bad idea, especially Mars Dasha. Not a bad idea. And Mercury, if you look at the Karyashas for marriage, the 7th Lord of Rasi chart Mercury, the 9th Lord Sun, they are well placed in Kamatrikonas in Navamsa. The 9th Lord of Rasi is in the 11th house in Navamsa. The 7th Lord of Rasi is in 7th house in Navamsa. So there are several good factors. So there is a chance of marriage in August, and it's not a bad idea. It may be better than to wait. But it's your choice. Let's see the 2008 chart. The Hora Lord is Mercury. The Hora Lord is Mercury.
Actually, in the one I saw, it is Jupiter is the Lagna.
Okay. Okay. So here, in this chart, Mercury is the Hora Lord. Now, if you see the net Rashi chart, first of all, 7th house is Sagittarius, it has Jupiter. 7th Lord is in 7th house. And where is, where is the Vivahasahamam? It is in Taurus. Vivahasahamam is in Taurus, owned by Venus, but no other strong links. Now, Venus is strong, and 7th house is particularly strong. And UL, again, Jupiter owns UL. So UL is owned and aspected by the 7th Lord. So there is a link between UL and 7th house. And if you look at the Navamsa, the 9th Lord of Rashi chart, the Karyasha for Navamsa, Saturn, he is exalted in the 7th house in Navamsa with Lagna Lord. And Lagna Lord is in the 7th house. And 7th Lord Venus, he is in UL in the 9th house. If you ask me quite honestly, this seems like a better year. This seems like a better chance than the last chart that we saw. This seems like a better. So between 2008 September and one more year. Before basically Sun's Vimshoti Dasha comes, and towards the end of Venus Dasha, that seems like a better time. Probably it may happen this year. That is my feeling. If you get a spiritual life, the advantage will be she can go along with you, she can help you in your sadhana. If you get a non-spiritual life, it is even better, because she will basically make you mature fast, because she will test you. You need a lot of testing, and if somebody who can test you is right with you, it will be easier to make progress. Okay. How do you say things about wife? Shall we go to Navamsa and look at L7? L7 is in Cancer, right? Is it? Let's open the chart. L7 is in Cancer. Jupiter is in Scorpio. So taking Cancer as Lagna, what can you say? Will she be spiritual? 8th house has Ketu. What else? 12th house is owned by Mercury and aspected by Mercury. So there is some basic spirituality is there. And Lagna Lord Moon is in the 10th house.
Can you say they help in our spiritual progress?
Whether the person will be helpful, whether the person's influence on your spiritual progress will be positive. Well, for that what I suggest is, go to the Vimshamsa and look at the relation between Atmakarka and Dharkarka. So Dharkarka is Moon and Atmakarka is Mercury, right? So Mercury Moon relationship in the Vimshamsa will be the key thing for it. So they are in mutual Dvadashas. So Dharkarka is in Manakarka Sthana from Atmakarka. So actually seems a little negative. The answer to your question seems negative. But having said that, she herself is likely to be spiritual.
Can we see problem between her and a person? I will be the one who will be doing the sacrifice.
Okay.
Will that be seen in nature?
We'll try to see. But one thing I will say is, because Lagna is Cancer and Saturn is aspecting, okay, Jupiter is in the 5th house. So Jupiter is quite strong in the 5th house. Lagna Lord in Moon can give you an active career. But then Mars, the 10th Lord, is in 12th house. So that can actually deprive of career. So it's tough to say whether she will be a working wife or she will be a housewife.
I want her to be a housewife.
Yeah. Mars strongly suggests a housewife. Good. Yeah, we'll see D12. Okay, we'll go to D12 now.
In that Mars is in the 6th house in Saturn.
Right.
So that that means no happiness insurance.
Not necessarily. The
But
the Lagna Lord Mars is in 6th house. 6th house is a good house for Mars to be. So he shows the bravery, overcoming obstacles, etc. But it also shows that there will be some obstacles relating to children. So it doesn't show a smooth ride with respect to children. Mars being in the 6th house. But yes, the Karyesha is Mars. Karaka, you mean Jupiter. Rashi, 5th Lord is Jupiter, Mars. So Karyesha is Mars. He is in an Upajaya. For a male fig being in Upajaya is good. So Karyesha is well placed.
Aryasha you see from Mars or always from
Mercury? For me?
Aryasha you always see from Rashi chart.
Yeah. But the thing is, your point is also right. You can actually say that Jupiter is the Karyesha, not Mars. Why? Because taking the Guru Lagna instead of Lagna, because it's so strong in the Rashi chart. You take the 5th from Jupiter as the Karya Bhava for children. Then the Karyesha is Jupiter. And he is quite well placed in Saptamsa. And apart from whether he is Karyesha or not, Jupiter is Karaka for Putra. So Putra Karaka being so strong in the Saptamsa chart is very good. So that is good. The only problem is Putra Karaka Venus is in 8th house from Atmakaraka Mercury. And if you see, the Putrakaraka was in Manakaraka Sthana from Atmakaraka in Navamsha also, which is the basic chart for seeing all the soul level relationships. And it's repeating in the Saptamsa. So there is something undesirable, some relationship problem with the child, which I can't put my finger on, but there is something to watch out. But there is still time, you don't have to worry. And anyway, it all depends on the runas. Different souls have different runas with each other. Depending on it, you have to experience certain emotions. You can experience them and at the same time tell yourself, well, this is just karma. Then you can remain relatively untouched by it. But overall, this chart is strong. The 5th house has a Gajageshwari Yoga. So Saptamsa, a Gajageshwari Yoga in the 5th house is very auspicious. And if you take the first child, Sun will be the Lagna for first child. Oh, there is Rahu. So we will actually be counting from here. So the first child will actually be given by Jupiter and Moon in Lagna. So it will be somebody famous, somebody of probably a hearty temperament because it is Leo, somebody very royal kind of person, very regal.
Actually, I thought maybe because they want to be more materialistic, right? And spiritual.
We'll see. There's still some time. You can't really put your finger on it yet. It's very difficult to say. But one thing is, things look fine. That's all I wanted to see. With respect to Saptamsa, things look fine. There is he is blessed with respect to child. There is at least one child and very good child, probably a boy, because it's Jupiter with, even though it's with Moon, he's in Leo. So probably it's a boy. And there is some fame for the child. How is the Dvadashamsa and how is the period right now? He wants to see the possibility of doing father's last rites in the next few dasas.
Just briefly about
Pardon me?
and briefly about
Okay, and then we'll end. We are 9 o'clock. So right now the dasha running is Venus. But the dasha that is going to start next is Sun dasha. And Sun is in the 9th house with Rahu, with the 8th lord. Sun is the Pitrikaraka. He is in the 9th house of father, but he is eclipsed by Rahu. That too 8th lord. 8th lord in Dvadashamsa is some unexpected thing or some tension, anxiety, some worry relating to paternal, maternal matters, parental matters. So that Rahu eclipsing Sun in the 9th house suggests the possibility that within Sandasha there will be some bad news relating to father, right? But the thing is, he's in the 9th house, and they are in Pisces, a Sattvic sign. So all the whatever dharma you have to do relating to father, it should be done during the Sandasya, if it happens, your dharma will basically be done in a sattvic way during that period. And actually, where is L9? L9 is in Aquarius. So is Sun a Marka? Sandasya is going to start soon. Venus Dasya is running right now. Venus is not Marka. Even though he is in the 8th house, he is 4th and 9th lord. He is not a Marka really. But being in the 8th house, he can give suffering. That too with Ketu could even be really bad, undiagnosable kind of suffering. He only gives suffering but not death. But Sun, he is the 7th lord in the 2nd house with male feet. So it's actually quite bad. He is actually the strongest Marka here in this particular from Aquarius. So Sandasya is of concern. So from father's point of view, it is a Marka period. From your point of view, it is a period when you will do your dharma in a sattvic way, but with lot of sadness because of Rahu. And it may be sudden also because 8th house is involved, Rahu is involved. Something sudden and unnatural is possible. Here also it is showing up. So in any case, good luck with your father's health, good luck with all the transitions of the business and all the responsibilities. I'll take one last question from you and all the best. In any case, you have shown ample ability to answer all your questions yourself. So you didn't really need the help of the class. Yeah. L4. How is L4? Where is L4 actually? It's in Scorpio with Mars in it. So again, earlier also we saw Leo with the Sun in Mars, Sun in Scorpio. So there is some link with Scorpio, Mars, etc. So again, it shows Pitta constitution, lot of heat in the body, lot of Pitta in the body, and you said headaches, etc. That makes sense. And health-wise, the Dasya that is running Sandasya, how is Sandasya for mother? Sun is the 10th lord. 10th lord's eclipse can actually cause some problems in the career, some problems in the karma, in the activities in the society, but he is in the 5th house. Sun Rahu combination in the 5th house is good for mantra sadhana. So it is a very good period for mantra sadhana for mother. Right? And how is the moon dasya for mother, which is coming next? Awesome. Why? 9th lord in the 10th house. Excellent for mother. And how is Mars dasya? Mars is the Lagna lord in Lagna. So the next several years look good for mother. And health wise, are there any major concerns? Well, Sandasya, there can be some concern because he is afflicted by Rahu. But he has nothing to do with Bhadakasthana, 6th house, 8th house. He only aspects the 8th house by Rashtrashi. That's it. No other links with those bad houses. Right? So not really any major concern in the next several years. Moon, maybe there is some concern because he is also 8th lord dispositor and Bhadakesha. So moon dasya, there can be some blood pressure problems or some problems relating to moon area shown by moon. Some chance. But again, is it terrible? Not really. So there aren't any terrible suffering being suggested for mother. She will be fine. So you don't have to really worry about your mother.
You are taking the 8th lord dispositor in Ratisha.
No. I am talking about Dasamsha. From Scorpio, 8th lord is Mercury. He is in Cancer. So his dispositor is moon. So being the 8th lord dispositor and being the Bhadakesha, actually for mother, Mercury is quite bad. Bhadakasthana he is there in, and he is the 8th lord. 8th lord in Bhadakasthana is quite bad. So whenever Mercury sub-periods come, like Venus Mercury which was over, or Sun Mercury which will come in 2013-14, she has to be a little careful. But overall, mother's health seems quite decent. There aren't any major problems that we detect in this Dvalashamsa. So mother seems to be basically of good health. Okay? So all the best to you, your parents, and all your astrological activities as well as spiritual sadhana. Actually, even though he didn't ask, does he have Lagna Lord in 2nd house, Jupiter in the 8th house, Jupiter aspect in 2nd house. So he can be a good astrologer. So good luck. Good luck. You have, with the little bit of interaction in the class, you have actually shown that you have understood the subject well, and you are familiar with all the basic parameters, and you are thinking well. So you are bound to, if you focus on astrology, you are bound to become good in astrology, and also you have a powerful T20. So focus on your spiritual life also, but try to balance the spiritual life and the material, the so-called practical material life. So all the best to you, Rajesh. Om Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.